You know what, guys? The Skaven have been pissing in the Dawi cereal for thousands of years, and Barden Gorikson, the Dwarf Ranger, has had enough of it. So we're going to don the engineer's mask, we're going to grab our trusty pickaxe, and we're going to head into the tunnels of Smuggler's Run to slay some Thagoraki filth. Accompanying me are my weapons and my wits. And that's it. No bots, no teammates, a true solo run. I'm playing Nightmare, not Cataclysm, for a couple of reasons. Number one, true solo runs on Vermintide are really goddamn hard. This game is not designed to be played solo. The exact same number of rats and specials will spawn on a run for 4 people as they will if only one person is alive. And I'm the only person alive. I cannot tell you how many of these runs have been ended by gutter runners spawning in at inopportune times. Not fun. They are so annoying. Legitimately, they are coded to pounce when you are not looking, which means they will sometimes hide for minutes if your back is to a wall. They are the absolute bane of a solo player's existence. So keeping an eye out for them is going to be super important because they are always your biggest threat. One misstep and the run ends, just like that. Another big threat are slave hordes, which it sounds kind of dumb, but when combined with packmasters or gutter runners, things turn into a nightmare real quick. We're going to throw a firebomb there and get them off my ass. Give me a little bit of space so I can start cutting through them. And number 2, this weapon would absolutely not work on Cataclysm solo runs without the damage boon enabled from your contracts. It is a beast, but it is a beast on Nightmare. This is the Bolg Drengi, the rarest version of the Warpick, with Swift Slaying, Killing Blow, and Bloodlust as its 3 traits, which is not a possible trait combination on exotic quality, which means orange or below. So the only way you can get this trait combo is with the Red Warpick. And in a full team, on Nightmare difficulty, it is insanely strong. Just chews up Ratmen, spits them back out, hits 4 targets with a single horizontal swing, so it has decent crowd control and very high DPS. The problem is its inherent lack of mobility. You can only dodge 2 or 3 times in a row before losing the majority of your dodge distance, which is a gigantic problem in solo situations because mobility is super important, right? It's how you stay ahead of the pack, it's how you skirt around the edges, dancing with the horde, and generally avoiding damage. So yeah, it doesn't work so well with the pickaxe in solo situations. So you kind of have to wade into melee and swing a lot, which means you're going to get hit, and in my case, probably get hit a lot. I'm sure there are pros who could mitigate damage and dodge dance better with the weapon than I can, but it's honestly designed to have more support from teammates. That Packmaster got really close. That was scary. That's fun, though. I mean, this weapon is really fun. That's why I'm showing it off. It's a beautiful weapon, so I wanted to try Smuggler's Run and see if we can make it through in a solo situation. So, while we're on the subject of the Warpick, making our way through the level, let's talk a little bit of lore. So when the dwarfs march to war, many mining clans form regiments to join the battle. As a point of pride, they do not bear axes, but instead wield the same two-handed mining picks they use to laboriously carve out tunnels. Some, however, wield sumptuous picks forged solely for war. Although Barden's mining career was short and somewhat disappointing, he fully appreciates the beauty of the Warpick's craftsmanship. There are 2 runes inscribed on this ancient weapon. Bolg, which means large fat belly, or a state of extreme wealth and contentment, and Drang, which means slay or slayer, and 2 conflicting accounts of the weapon's history. One claims it was wielded by Orvar Nicefinger, the legendary miner who slew an infamous ogre tyrant with an immensely gargantuan and insatiable belly, even by ogre standards. Proponents of the second version assert that the weapon was forged for Sturry Goldbreach, a wealthy miner of Clan Helheim. Problems arose when the weaponsmith allegedly was so pleased with the finished product that he refused to part with it, resulting in a long series of grudges and bloodshed. No matter what the weapon's history, though, it does a fine job of killing ratmen. And at this point in the gameplay, things are getting a little bit intense. So, you saw me kill that gutter runner. I basically had to tank a bunch of hits there because it was in the middle of a horde, and if I didn't kill it and keep it stun locked, I was going to die. So I had my Grudge Raker out and basically just hit it with the back end of the gun multiple times over and over again to keep it in that roll stance, make sure that it couldn't pounce me, because if that happened, again, of course, I'm completely dead. Then I had to deal with the Storm Vermin and that horde that came directly after it. So, not the best start to the run, honestly. I did manage to heal. I'm at like 3/4 HP, so I'm fine for now. But now we're down at the first event of the mission, which we gotta open this floodgate, and things get scary from there, because there are gonna be specials that spawn, and a lot of hordes that come from multiple angles, coming from above, coming from the sides, coming from the grates down below. Things get real scary here. So, gonna take out the storm vermin with the overhead, which is extremely good on Nightmare. You can one-shot a storm vermin, and it's very satisfying. I mean, that's basically this weapon in a nutshell, right? Incredibly satisfying weapon to use, and like I said, looks gorgeous. The problem is I'm going to have to dodge dance with a lot of Skaven hordes. So you're going to see as I'm fighting here, and you might have already seen it, the fact that it just has kind of low mobility. So what I typically do is swing, swing, push, swing, swing, push, although it depends if I get my Swift Slaying proc. If I get my Swift Slaying proc, which increases my attack speed by 30%, I think, for 5 seconds, something like that, on hit, then that means that I'm gonna just swing, 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 right? Because it gives me an attack speed that's fast enough to continue swinging without having to cancel or block or push or anything. But I'm gonna have to throw a bomb here because the storm vermin are overwhelming me, and back up because there are a lot of specials on my ass right now. Packmaster coming in, that's first priority. If that thing grabs me, I'm dead, and then I can deal with the storm vermin. The Globadier is going to be the special that I care least about, probably, because you can skirt around the poison globes relatively easily and actually use it to kill the horde off for you a bit. So that's not the biggest issue. But yeah, you saw I killed the 2 storm vermin and then focused on the Globadier afterwards. But yeah, that Packmaster and the Gutter Runner, those are going to be usually near the top of your priority list, because the longer those are alive, the more chances you have to just outright die. Again, gonna pop that Globadier in the face, make sure he can't throw any more globes, and that actually went pretty smoothly, honestly. I mean, if this was Kata, again, I'd already be down. You can't get hit by multiple clan rats like that and survive on Cataclysm. It just doesn't work. But I wouldn't be using this weapon on Cataclysm either, especially not in a solo situation. So, yeah, I know I say that a lot. I'll be harping on that a lot, because some people, like, believe me, I want to be doing Cataclysm runs. I feel like the Cataclysm is more fun. It's more what Vermintide was meant to be. But when you're playing by yourself, it's just another level entirely. And I'm not on that level yet. I can't play Cataclysm solo and expect myself to do well. It's hard enough beating Nightmare runs, man. So maybe one day. But for now, you can see I also turned the HUD back on, right? Because I was just like, this is kicking my ass. I want to not get myself... I want that cinematicness for sure. Like, it's beautiful playing without the HUD enabled. But I wanted to win some runs, so that's why I turned it back on. Grudgeraker has been very good to me in this game. I believe I have Hail of Doom, Rupture, and the extra ammo... not extra ammo capacity, but the bigger ammo pool, which basically just lets me shoot a lot more, and you can decimate hordes with it. So that's a good way to thin out enemy numbers before they close into melee and kind of overwhelm you. Because the pick, again, is not the best CC weapon for the dwarves either. The best crowd control weapon. The best crowd control weapon for the dwarves, or for the Empire Soldier, is probably the two-handed hammer, which hits infinite targets on its charged attack, but it only does damage to the first 2. So you can basically stun lock an entire horde by yourself, but you're going to be killing them very, very slowly. This is much more for the DPS, cutting through 4 at a time, doing damage to all of them. Slicing them up with the killing blow procs can be very important, but again, you're not going to be able to stun lock the entire horde. So you will get hit when you're swinging, unless you're getting a ton of Swift Slaying procs, which is a reason why the red pick is so goddamn good, right? Because you get that Swift Slaying proc a lot, allows you to just really up that DPS. So it's been super sloppy so far, but it's been fun. We do have some challenges ahead, though. Unfortunately, we are completely and utterly at the mercy of RNGesus, who I guess takes the name Renald in Warhammer Fantasy, the god of fortune and luck. And we pray to him, please RNGesus, please Renald, do not give us gutter runners or rat ogres at the same time as a gigantic surge of slaves. And what does he do? He gives us a gutter runner and a rattling gunner at the same time as a gigantic surge of slaves. So now, panic ensues. I need to get my ass moving, and this is probably not what you want to do, because what I'm doing is backing up and this allows the slaves more time to group up and form into a gigantic horde. The problem is I wanted to find the Gutter Runner before the horde got to me, or things are going to get really bad. And unfortunately, the Gutter Runner is hiding like a pussy, like they usually do. They're very, very good at sneaking in this game. Like I said, they are actually programmed to hide. If you are in a corner with your back to a wall, looking outwards, waiting for them, they won't show up. They'll just wait until you're in a worse position, and then they'll go after you. So I'm panicking right now. I'm getting hit by stuff that I shouldn't be. I should not have gotten hit by that slave rat. In a normal situation, I wouldn't, but you play worse in these kind of situations because you end up panicking a lot. And I'm going to actually kill 4 clan rats there with a single shot from the Grudge Raker. This gun is so much fun to use. It's my favorite ranged weapon for the dwarf by far. I do like the handgun. It's very satisfying to use that occasionally. And the Drake fires, of course, as well. Again, running away because the Gutter Runner still hasn't shown up yet. Still hasn't shown himself. And there's a Rattling Gunner behind me. But yeah, I think the Grudge Raker is his most satisfying weapon. You can just clear out entire hordes with it. And it still kills specials very well at the same time. So, I am still panicking because I have no idea where the Gutter Runner is. At this point, he should have shown up by now. I'm just going to go after this Rattling Gunner. And, oh, baby. Yes. Beautiful. One overhead strike into the Rattling Gunner's noggin. And suddenly, the poor guy doesn't have a head anymore. I don't feel too bad for him, though. He's trying to shoot me in the face. But the assassin just hasn't shown up. And I think this was one of those cases where he might have just slammed his head into a wall repeatedly until he died. There are some really funny moments on Vermintide where a Gutter Runner will pounce after somebody and slam into a wall and just immediately blow up. That might have happened, but he's gone. He's not here anymore. So I got lucky there because dealing with him and a horde at the same time would have been challenging. That's why I got the bomb out. Oh, let's talk about bombs for a second. So my trinkets this game are, as I cut through this horde or try to deal with it, so many hordes, man. That's another thing. When you play solo, you have to deal with a lot more hordes and specials because it takes you a longer time to finish the run. Just because your damage is nowhere near as potent as 4 people, obviously. But my trinkets are Grenadier, which gives me 25% chance when throwing a bomb that it won't be consumed. I also have Gunnery School Expert, which expands the radius of all thrown bombs by 60%. And I have Seal of the Swift Strider, which increases my movement speed by 6%, just to give me a bit more mobility and ability to skirt around the edges of hordes. It's not a big deal, but it can be enough to turn things in your favor a bit as I pop a speed potion here. But for the bomb trinkets, I was just kind of going for a themey build. I thought a Dwarf Grenadier Miner kind of build would be a lot of fun. And I have that 1 in 4 chance to duplicate a bomb immediately after throwing it, so you can get out of some really sticky situations that way, but it's definitely not the ideal or meta trinket setup for solo runs, but it's worked out alright so far. I've been able to get a lot of bomb throws in, and I did dupe a bomb there, I believe, so that's pretty good, and it let me deal with that horde a bit better. So I have a Globadier on me right now, and I'm going to have to deal with him. I'm going to get the Grudge Raker out, pop him in the face, and deal with that first horde. And now we're going to have a grind here to the end of the map. We're getting really close, and this is where things get really tough. Feels like the whole weight of the world is on your shoulders. Your palms are spaghetti, knees weak, arms spaghetti, never forgetty. So close to the end, the finish line is almost in sight. But it's just mentally exhausting, man. Because the whole run, you're in constant danger, which is just not how your typical Vermintide run feels. And so you try not to make mistakes, and you hope that Ronaldo's kind, and you just try to carve your way to the end of the map. Another horde coming from multiple angles now, so we're going to throw a bomb. And we get a dupe. That's good. So a second flame bomb. 25% chance. That's been pretty nice to me, honestly. And one thing I have neglected to mention thus far that I definitely should have is one of the best things about the pickaxe. Yeah, I definitely should have talked about this earlier. But the pickaxe, it does allow you to completely crowd control Storm Vermin as well because all of its attacks are armor piercing. Every single normal attack will go through armor. God, I'm getting hit so much. It's so annoying. It's really bad. It's really bad. But it's so hard to dodge dance with this weapon, man. It has no mobility whatsoever. But yeah, the normal attack will go through armor. So you can completely cancel a Storm Vermin's overhead attack with just a regular normal attack, which is really good. Basically just keep Storm Vermin stun locked. And That's really, really helpful, especially in the horde situations where you see a storm vermin doing an overhead in the middle of a bunch of slaves. You can cancel it with the pickaxe, which is a normal attack, which is really good. Gonna block his overhead here, finish him off, and we're getting so close to the end. But there are gonna be more specials. Rattling gunners coming up soon, and we're gonna throw another bomb because there's another horde coming. Reynolds not being very nice with the hordes at the moment. Rattling gunner firing in. There's also a Packmaster coming soon as well. I think I can hear him at the moment. So get ready to pop him. Finish the Rattling gunner off. Or try to. Yeah. Oh, it's getting intense now. God, this is the sloppiest run ever, man. It's so sloppy. Ooh, and those Packmasters are scary too, because there have been multiple times where I've tried to shoot them in the face, and you shoot them twice, and because they're resistant to damage, they'll kind of shrug off the second shot, and while you're reloading, if you don't time your dodge correctly, it'll just grab you, and then the run's over again. But I did it! I killed them off! Do we have anything left to worry about? We got 3 clanner ads behind me. Salvation is in sight here in the streets of Uberschreik. Salvation is at hand. One last look at my beautiful pickaxe, and we're gonna finish the run. Oh, exhausting. Tough run. Like, it makes me look like I'm bad at the game. It really does, because you get hit so much with that weapon combo. But yeah, I've done better solo runs than that with other weapon combos, especially with Elf, where you have so much more dodge mobility. It becomes a lot easier. You look a lot more talented at the game. But I wanted to show off that pickaxe because I just dropped it, and it's so much fun to use. It's such a beautiful weapon. I wanted to get a gameplay for it, and I don't want to do only Elf solo runs either. That's not going to be fun for anybody to watch. So, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Dwarf Ranger able to clear out Smuggler's run with just his trusty pickaxe and just his Grudge Raker and his wits. Really fun game. Take a look at the stats here. 518 kills, 9 special kills. Take a look at the damage here in a second. Where's the damage? Oh yeah, damage is on the last page. So let's go over to the right, Take a look at that. 600 damage. Awful. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.